been in prison for 25 years. I've been locked up since '93, since I was 20.
California, living my life in California, getting it right in California, did life in California, stay prison, California, mama just called, California, where you at, fool? California, don't get tired in California, I run a marathon in California. Be a follower that just got me inside of a trash can, man, but I popped out like the Cookie Monster, cause I don't follow no man. Don't follow that man, cause follow that man just gonna have you be like that man when he locked in the Sandman in the shoe talking about gonna be like the Sandman. That's enough for you, YouTube. Zatu, top of the AM, top of the morning. I'm happy to be here. Just got back from the pen, which was cool, man. Yeah, coming back from prison is cool, man. It's not bad going back to prison. If you've been to prison and you're going back to help people out, you should never forget those people you left behind because they're just like you. You don't have no reason to be here if you think you are not like everybody else that you left behind them walls. The people behind them walls are no less deserving than me or anybody else. We all deserve to be out here and program in the United States of America. We just got to get our program together. We got to get our mind right. So when we come out here, we create no victims and we get to stay here and live our lives and grow our families. We ain't trying to hurt people. So today, on today's episode of The Road, we're going to review Jermaine Pickens. This is an interview I did when I was incarcerated and he was incarcerated. We were able to get together and create a positive message for the youth. His story is powerful, wrongful conviction. He should be home. He's incarcerated currently because of messed up laws back in his time when he was incarcerated. But let's go ahead and review this video. We'll provide feedback as reasonable. Ah, that's me. So when I was incarcerated, I had a YouTube channel, and this is what I would do. I would, oh, shout out 16 to Life. He on my next up. Shout out to 16 to Life. You don't follow him, go follow this man. Very intelligent. Also served a long time in prison. 24 years, I believe, of his 15 to life sentence. But very good channel. So go out, check him out when you get a chance.
Hello, and thank you for accepting my call. You are listening to the California Island podcast, recorded over a state prison telephone and available to you for free at 10flightout.org. Okay, my name is Jermaine Pickens, and this is a message to the youth. This is directed to the youth about gang life and the tragedies that gang life brings. And I'm not just speaking on the murders and things, because even though that means a lot, those are definitely tragedies. I'm also speaking on the tragedies that comes with the gang members themselves. Now, I've been in prison for 25 years. I've been locked up since '93, since I was 20.
1993, a 20-year-old. Just imagine a 20-year-old in Los Angeles in 1993. Just imagine how law enforcement was structured to target the African American community. Imagine how the court system was structured to target minority youth and funnel them into prison. And the murder rate in 1993 was as high as it's ever been. 92, 93, you had over 1,000 murders in Los Angeles every year. Every city in the nation was struggling with the murder epidemic at that time. And law enforcement was taking advantage. It didn't matter if you were guilty or not. They would find them an individual and incarcerate him and give him a life sentence. And as you hear, this man was incarcerated at the age of 20, a youth offender. Your brain's not fully developed until you're 25 years old as a male. So this is somebody that was missing the rational decision-making center of his brain. That's a disadvantage. You don't take somebody who's missing their rational decision-making center of their brain and condemn them to die in prison, especially for a crime they didn't commit. But anyways, let's get back to the brother's words. They're very powerful. I just wanted to point that out. And this interview was conducted 4 years ago, so he's been incarcerated 29 years now.
For a crime I didn't commit. The reason why is because of the lifestyle that I lived. I lived a lifestyle of running the streets, gang banging, selling drugs, committing certain crimes and things, and that lifestyle drove me here, even though I'm in here for something I didn't do once again. The thing about
part of the message was so important. If you didn't catch it and if you didn't pick it up, let me break it down to you. the lifestyle of living young, reckless out here in California, whether you're doing drugs or associating with killers and drug dealers, you are at risk of going to prison for the rest of your life because of how you're living, your lifestyle. So he's saying because of his lifestyle, he was given life sentence, and he's not making any excuses. You have to accept what comes with that. If you're willing to live out here dangerously, even if you're not dangerous or violent or doing anything, you have to accept the risk that you could be incarcerated for life because you're making a conscious choice without your rational decision making center of your brain, mind you. You're not grown yet. Until you're 25, you don't have that piece of equipment that you need to navigate these streets fully and adequately. So, no excuses. He's just saying, be aware of that and accept what comes with that. Like he's accepting he has life.
That is, by you running the streets and having a name of a gang member and doing the things that gang members do, you can end up in prison for a crime that you didn't do because that's what the police would do. They would throw you in prison. They would put a case on you just to get you off the streets. And that's what happened to me. But I don't blame the police for that. The reason why I don't blame the police for that is because of the simple fact that if I wouldn't have been living that lifestyle, they wouldn't have never had the choice or the decision or the reason to put a case on me. So I blame myself. I blame myself because if I would not have lived those, if I would not have done the things that I've done, if I wasn't running the streets, if I wasn't hanging at the park, if I wasn't hanging on the block, if I wasn't selling drugs, if my name wasn't out there as being that gang member, which I thought was cool, which I thought gave me the reputation that I wanted, which I thought gave me the acceptance that I wanted from being around those people that I was around. That's why it wasn't cool. So for me, I speak on this. I send this message to you guys to say, be careful what you do. Think about the decisions that you make. Choose the right decisions, because if you choose to live this lifestyle, you can end up dead, which you already know. You can end up being in prison for something you didn't do. You can end up in prison for something you did do. And prison is not the way you want to go. I understand that you say to yourself, oh, I'm down, I got to stay down for the hood, but the hood ain't going to stay down for you. The hood don't give a fuck about you. And that's just the truth. That's just the raw and uncut.
That's very raw and uncut. If you want to listen to Jermaine Pickens' full interview and episode without my commentary, I will put the link in this description so that way you can do that. And I don't have to interrupt this man's brilliant words because he's saying enough. I don't need to commentate, but the whole purpose of this video is to review and comment on his interview. He said the hood doesn't care about you. It will eat you up, chew you up, spit you out. I mean, this man ain't lying. In California, one of my best friends, in my opinion, he made a mistake, but he talked a little too much to law enforcement trying to wiggle out of a situation. And then that was his demise. That was his nail in the coffin. If you do something like that in California, if you slip up, you have hungry wolves from the hood that don't like you. Most hoods have cliques within the hood of people who hang out every day. Any large organization is going to have people that are closer to others. Some people are related. Some people are part of that generation is not getting along with the next generation. But you got wolves that are itching and looking for any slip up, any mistakes. So you got to walk a tightrope because if you make one of those mistakes and somebody is on your helmet enough, he will pull your coattails and put out your paperwork and whatever else you did that might have been against the grain, and you could potentially be murdered for that. And then if you go out and put in work for the hood, say you're the one who kills a snitch in the hood, one of your homies is a snitch, you put in work, you take them out for the hood, you go to jail, you get life. It's over. You're not in the hood no more. You're in the pen. You're going to be in a cell with somebody who was your enemy. Now, because you're from the same area, you're going to be friends with your enemy. You guys are going to be cellies. You're going to be hanging out. The same hood that shot at you or shot you. The same hood you shot or killed some of their homies. You're now going to be homies. You're in this together. And in the hood, the actual hood, the way it functions, you're in prison, so you're not having an impact. You might be an OG. People might tell folklores and stories about you, but you can't go to Walmart. You can't go to Target. You can't go to Food for Less. You can't go to the gas station. You can't drive in the whip and bump your music. You're going to be on the yard. You're going to be in a cell. And now your life's in line in there protecting somebody who is your enemy on the street. Like, if you could have just been friends on the street, you would have never had to make it to prison. And then Why would you be worried about the snitch? If you just didn't associate with the snitch, you wouldn't have had to go to prison. You could tell him to leave the hood, kick him, roll him up about the hood. You could roll him up. You can overpower him. You get a group of a gang of homies instead of one homies and be like, look, you have to go, sir. And then whatever happens, happens. Hopefully he doesn't challenge you guys to a gunfight or a duel. But at the end of the day, just any mistake you made, it doesn't have to be you taking out a snitch in the hood. Say you decide to take out an enemy or anybody. Say you decide just to have a gun because them weapons charges in California will get you time in prison. The homies in the hood are gonna be functioning with or without you, man. And then those wolves who are like, I want his spot in the hood. I want to be looked at like him. Homies look to him. Homies listening. I want that spot. You're gone. They're gonna step into your shoes quick, fast, in a hurry. And then don't let you slip up in prison. Don't let you make a mistake. Don't let you be overwhelmed and stressed out and break it down a little bit because it's over for you. People gonna be quick to jump on you. But anyways, let's get back to Jermaine.
I've been down, like I said, 25 years. My mom been there with me. She's always tried to take care of me, always tried to make sure I had what I needed and things like that. But why would a grown man want to sit up and depend on his mother, right? Why would a grown man want to sit up and always got to call on his mother to do this or to do that, right? So why if you in that game, why wouldn't you be able to call on your homies? Your homies ain't gonna be there. That's why you can't call on your homies to do shit for you. Because once you gone, you gone. If we dead, they forget about you. They might put your name on the shirt or whatever, but they gonna forget about you. My case that I'm in here for, I knew who did it. I knew who committed the crime, but I chose not to tell on these dudes for the simple fact of why? Because I was trying to stay down for the hood. And guess what? Them dudes ain't never did anything for me. They never did anything for me. They never done anything for my family. So I basically gave them my life. I traded in my life so they could stay on the streets. And how backwards is that? How backwards is that? That's completely backwards. But that's the only reason why I did that is because I thought that's what you did when you were supposed to be down. But that's not the truth. Being down is being down for yourself as far as making sure that you were able to live your life. Not sacrificing your life for a nigga that wouldn't for a person that wouldn't sacrifice their life for you. So for me,
I'm picking up on that. So what's clear is that the homie is saying that it's a worthy sacrifice. Like in the military, if a Marine jumps on a grenade to save his band of brothers, that's love, because they would do the same for him. In theory, the hood is supposed to be the same way. You never supposed to leave a homie. And I had a homie like that. He never left me hanging, man. He always came. I wouldn't say he had to come to my rescue, but there was a time I was getting packed out and I got dropped, slammed to the floor. And he choked the dude out and helped me get back on my feet. So I felt like, he came through for me because he was putting himself at risk of getting jumped just to save me because he's the homie and that's what he's supposed to do. So in the politics, when you go to jail, the homie rightfully in that world out here in California, he bit the bullet. He took the case for the homies, which he was supposed to do. And you would expect that the homies would have did the same thing in return for him. And don't get me wrong, in a lot of groups and a lot of situations, people do it all the time. But the fact that they ain't never sent the man a package, they never asked his family how they doing. I had strangers on the community come up to my mom to ask how she was doing, dudes that I just knew that, that came through more than the gang I actually grew up in. But I ain't gonna lie, I mean, my homie that I told you that came to my rescue, he checked up on my family. He came through and did as much as he could with the little resources he had. But yeah, this is a cold situation when you take the beef and then ain't nobody put money on your books, ain't no one coming to see you. That's kind of out of pocket. That's disrespecting the gang backwards, kind of.
I've been sitting up in here doing God knows what as far as I didn't care about something.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I felt like I had no hope. I felt like I had no faith. I felt like I had nothing to live for. So my first 22, 23 years I was in prison. I just did what I did. I didn't care. I drank, I smoked weed, I did all type of stuff. I carried knives. I did the things that gang members do in prison. But then, as I came across my wife, my beautiful wife, and I love her with all my heart because she brought all the things back to me that I needed to be back with me. She brought that faith back to me. She brought that hope back to me. Because before she came back into my life, I never even thought that I was going to get out of prison. I never even thought that I had a chance of getting out of prison. To be truthful, I was so messed up in my head that I don't think I would even be here now if she wouldn't have came back into my life. And that's because I was so broke. Like the system just broke me. Like how can a person continue to stay strong and continue to believe and continue to have hope and faith if you sit up here and you look at certain things, like you sit there and you say, well, I'm in prison for something I didn't do, I should be home, and years is going by, you praying, and you feel like God ain't hearing your prayers, you feel like, oh, your homies done left you, your family done left you, you feel like you don't have nobody. You feel me? So when you feel that way, what do you have? You end up getting weaker and weaker, and that's what happened for me. But when my wife came back into my life, she brought back that strength, and that's a beautiful thing, and that's a blessing for me. But this message to you guys is just to try to open your eyes and see and help you see that you have to open your eyes. You have to see what's the real. Not the fake. You got to see what's real, and what's real is you. That's what's real. Your life is what's important. Not the gang lifestyle, not the dope dealing, not the partying. That's not the real. You need to put forth effort to get your education. You need to put forth effort to grow in a better way.
It's amazing that he would share the education because, as I was sharing with you, I just went back into Donovan as a peer mentor for the Lifted cohort. And if you don't know the Lifted cohort, I'll put the link in the description as well, is the UC System's first bachelor program for currently incarcerated students. And thank God Jermaine Pickens is one of those students working toward his bachelor's degree. So Jermaine. He's a UCI student just like us that are out here going to UCI, and he's currently incarcerated sentenced to life without parole. So shout out, man. Good job getting your education. We hope to see you on campus soon, one day soon. And if you haven't, man, please support this man either by sending him letters, contacting the governor, help this man get a commutation. Because as you heard him say honestly and openly, 30 years later, he wasn't the person who actually committed the crime. And knowing this, and even if he doesn't want to give up who did it, that's irrelevant. You can't continue to incarcerate this man. This is a crime against you now, California. You can't do it. And if the federal government upholds the California court's decision to keep this man in prison, that's a crime against you, United States federal government. So let's go ahead and release Jermaine Pickens and right another wrong and bring some humanity to our country. We need more humanity and less barbarism.
That's the only thing that I could really express to you right now. What I'm doing, I started going to college. I'm in a POOCH program. The POOCH program is so beautiful for me because it helps me give back to society. It helps me give back to, like, we train dogs for autistic children. We train dogs to give back to veterans that went over to war and come back with injured, head injuries and things like that, and they need that help. So for me, now I feel so much better to be able to do things.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
To be able to do things for people out there in the world that needs help. Like I never thought that I would be able to contribute to society or be a positive role model for society. And for me, being able to do those things, for me, being able to go to college and learn the things that I'm learning and be an A student and so forth, that means everything to me. Because I talk to my wife and I'm able to give my wife that and let her know what I'm doing, and she's happy to hear that and she's proud of me, that makes me feel good. When I tell my mom and I call my mom and I can talk to my mom and I'm not calling my mom and asking her to do certain things for me, that makes me feel good because now I know my mama is proud of me because she sees that I'm becoming a man and I'm no longer a boy. We cannot sit up and live the teenage life forever. We can't sit up and be 45 years old, which that's how old I am now, and still act like you're 15. So the whole thing, my message to you guys is just understand the choices that you're making in life. The choices that you make in life can have big consequences. You can end up serving the rest of your life in prison, or you can change your life now and serve the rest of your life being free and being a family man, being productive in the world.
Catch that? This man just gave you a golden recipe out here in California. And we just interviewed UCI Underground Scholars and we interviewed Alejandro and he told you a lot of homies don't know the resources are there. They will fund your education. They will pay for your housing. They will pay for your transportation. They will pay for your food. For you to get a associate's degree and then a bachelor degree and potentially get a master's and become a doctor, get a PhD, and you will get this fully funded coming out of South Central, coming out of Southeast San Diego, coming out of San Bernardino, coming out of Riverside, coming out of Bakersfield, coming out of Sacktown, coming out of the Bay Area, coming out of the Central Coast, coming out of all of California. They will, I don't know what I missed in California, but the whole state, Fresno, the whole state, these options at school is available to you. Go down to that local community college and tap in with your system impacted program, Rising Scholars Network. Hit up the UC's Project Rebounds, Underground Scholars. Get on that path to education because the state will fund your education and they will also fund your incarceration. So the homies doing it and I did it, and we all were doing it backwards. We were letting the state fund our incarceration and then let them fund our education. So let's let them fund our education first when we're still teenagers and we could go have fun in school and play sports and have a bigger impact in the world instead of getting out at 40, 50, 60 and then going to school. So that's for you. Those are nuggets. I hope you're picking them up.
Giving back to the world. I guarantee you that will make you more happy than sitting up running from the police, than sitting up getting shot at, and sitting up on a block or in a spot selling dope. I guarantee you that will bring you more happiness just being able to be a good man or a good young woman to the world. And that's what you need to understand. But once again, I'm just sending this message. This is the first time I'm been able to speak to the youth, and I hope my message came across good or somewhat where you can understand. But right now I'm still trying to come home. I'm doing the things that I need to do to try to come home. We're trying to get certain things done, but all we could do is sit up and pray. But until I'm home, and even after I'm home, I'm going to stay on that positive note. And when I come home, I'm going to do the same thing that I'm doing right now. This is just the beginning for me. I'm going to do everything in my power to help the youth get away from the gang life and understand that it's more than life than just gang banging. So I thank you for your time. I hope my message came across good. Y'all have a blessed day. And I hope to see y'all soon. Bye.
Man, that was salute Jermaine Pickens. That was Jermaine Pickens. Give me 1 second. Salute. Shout out Jermaine Pickens. That was powerful. This man just told you when he gets out, he's gonna be out there in the community. He's the guy that you need in the streets helping out our youngsters. He's from a community that he can gladly go back to. They will welcome him back with open arms as an OG of that community. And this man could go back and steer these youth to these colleges. He is an excellent example of who we need to release out here in California to reduce the crime rate, to keep another youngster from committing a murder. This is a no-brainer. Let this man go. Let Jermaine Pickens go. Let this man go. Stop playing around. Let him go. The more you don't let him go, the more you show your true colors, your true side, the truth that you want to keep California ridden with crime. Are you a part of that party that just wants to keep California ridden with crime? Or do you want a solution? Do you want to have no victims? Or do you just want to pretend that you want no victims, but yet get paid on the side from this mass incarceration in our criminal justice system? Do you enjoy hurting men? Do you enjoy being a captivator of men and holding men hostage that can help heal the world? I don't know one hero from the Bible that was incarcerated. It wasn't a hero who had a positive message, and when he came home, he was on a mission and sowed and reaped change wherever they went. So let Jermaine go. This is a crime to keep him incarcerated. I'm Sean Khalifa, and I just want to promise you this, man. Don't you ever let a judge take your future from you. I'm out. Peace.
What's good? You could do what you like. Don't let the judge take that from you.